All right. Can everyone see and hear me okay? Yeah, thumbs up?
Yep.
All right, awesome. Well, hello everyone from sunny Israel. Obviously, as some of you may know, this is not my usual setup. I'm actually in the Microsoft office in Israel, and I'm on vacation, but it is community, and community comes first. Don't tell my wife. And basically, look, we've been doing this for a while, and we're excited to reboot this series. For those of you who've been following the space, you know that we've been kind of running with this for I want to say 3 years on and off. For those of you who've been here for a long, long time, you might remember Chris Sanders, who I took over from these community calls about 2 and something years ago. And like I mentioned, we've been on and off, but now that we have a full-blown team, and I'll let Thomas and Kiana chime in here for a second. We're excited to reboot this team. There's a lot of things that are happening in this space of adaptive cloud. Some of you already have been hearing us talking about this. For the MVPs that are on the call, they've been hearing about this a lot. Our own Microsoft field also been starting to hear about this whole notion of adaptive cloud. And basically the idea here is to encapsulate and capture a lot of things that are in this space of adaptive cloud, right? Bring all the relevant product managers, come and talk to you about all the things that we are coming up with. So with that, let's just roll in and kick things off. I will let Thomas and Kiana take over here for a few minutes, and I'll be back with my segment here shortly. So Thomas, Kiana, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Lior. It's always a pleasure seeing you, even if you are on vacation. So thank you very much. I just want to take the opportunity to quickly welcome everyone. I'm super excited about this relaunch of these community calls, because obviously it gives us a great way of sharing our information, but also we get a lot of feedback from you, right? And so really, as you know, at the end we have this Q&A section, and Kiana will talk a little bit about the agenda and everything in just a bit. But yeah, I just want to make sure that you understand this is very both way conversation. So we're always learning a lot from you. And again, very excited, as Lior mentioned. We now have a whole team around this in our adaptive cloud experience team. We have different team members, and we have run different initiatives around community enablement and evaluation as well. So this is just one of our efforts here, and I'm happy to share more about this in the future. So that's all about for me today, and I'm happy to actually give the word to Kiana, who runs us through the show today.
Thanks, Thomas. Hello everyone. I'm Kiana. I'm also a PM. Obviously, I work with Lior and Thomas on the Adaptive Cloud Community initiative, and we're super excited to relaunch it and get started. So here you can see our goals and objectives. Basically, if you've been to this call before, I'm sure you all are well aware of the overview here, but I can quickly go through that so we can give the individuals that are presenting today a chance to speak. So yes, meetings are held each month. We'll be restarting this I believe that they were Tuesday previously, but this series will be the first Wednesday of every month. From 8 to 9 a.m. Pacific time, which translates to 11 to 12 Eastern time. And this call will be recorded. It's being recorded right now, and then it will be posted to YouTube later. If you're not familiar with our YouTube, we have all of our previous recordings from there. So if you're interested in checking those out, we have the link here in the later slides. Yep, so this is the GitHub page here. Here, I'm sure you all have been there before, but if you haven't, we have our overview of this initiative, and then you can also find, like I said, the previous links and recordings from the previous sessions that we've had and the resources. And then, yes, our YouTube here, like I was mentioning, is here. You can use the aka.ms link there on the side to watch out the previous recordings. And this is our agenda today. So I will let Lior go ahead and take over to get started on our Jumpstart.
All right. Thank you so much, Kiana. Thank you so much, Thomas. And, let's just get to business. We've done this before, so you know the drill. We're going to give each product group somewhere around the 10 minutes time frame, up to 10 minutes, so just making sure that we're covering as much ground as possible. Obviously, there is the Q&A, there is the questions, there is the chat. There are a bunch of folks here on the call that are listening in, the product managers from the group, asking everyone to kindly mute yourself as we are rolling in. All right. So with that, I'll try to be brief, just kind of give the community here some updates about the things that happened. I took the liberty to include things that happened in the past couple of months, just because we knew that we are rebooting this call. I wanted to give you the latest and greatest. So I'll talk about some of the things that happened and also what you should expect in the future, just a bit. So in terms of the February-March release, there is actually, in the March release, we actually released a new scenario for the run command in the Jumpstart that is around running PowerShell and shell scripts on Azure Arc-enabled servers using the run command. This was a community contribution, and we're always happy to get community contributions. So all the details on all the links, everything that you need will be in the AKL link that you have on the right there, specifically the second one, Jumpstart release. So there where you get all the details of the release notes. HCI box. So just one word about HCI box. Since we released HCI box 23H2 support back at the end of January, we've been seeing HCI box booming, like in terms of usage, in terms of how many deployments, in terms of community engagement, either internally here in Microsoft and also in our GitHub repository for the Jumpstart. Definitely, we've seen a lot of engagement, and we're excited about that because it makes us feel that we're validating basically our hypothesis that people do need to use this type of stuff when they don't have the hardware to run or their own hardware to run HCI. So you can see a couple of updates there around HCI box. One update is around the 24.02 OS version support and also more region availability for HCI box. If you go to the release notes, you will see that also, just kind of scrolling to those release notes, you can see that there's a lot of bugs that we are fixing in HCI box. Some of these bugs are related to documentation. Some of these bugs are related to upstream issues that we're seeing either in HCI or other components that are related to that, and some miscellaneous bugs. So definitely recommend, if you care about this and if you've been contributing to this, and a lot of you have been contributing to this, definitely recommend go to the release notes and check out, what we've been cooking there. Arc-enabled data services monthly release. We have Lance here to cover in more detail later on in this call. But basically, as always, tight partnership with the Arc-enabled data services team, including SQL Server. So nothing changed there. We keep rolling out the monthly releases and updating the Jumpstart content to make sure that we have the latest and greatest to support Arc-enabled data services. And again, multiple RBox, HCI box, and Agora bug fixes. I do want to give a call out to the initiative. If you've been following the space, if you've been following me, if you've been following, the team activities, you know that we started rolling out something new. We call that architecture posters and diagrams, or in short, APD. And you can find that in the link. I actually wanted to give you a quick 30 seconds demo, and just for those of you that are not familiar with that. When it comes to the team and what we are doing, a lot of what we're doing here in the evaluation and community enablement team is working very tightly with the product groups, making sure that they have the latest and greatest when it comes to architecture diagrams that they can put in external facing either documentations or decks, or also providing the community with assets that they can use on their own in presentations that they're giving and what have you. So we started to roll out this initiative of APD about 2.5, maybe 3 months ago. And we've been getting a lot of positive feedback. So for those who are not familiar with that, let me just kind of show you what this is all about. So let me do this. Sorry about that. And okay, so this is the Jumpstart assets page. Okay, again, the links are all in the deck. This is the Jumpstart assets page. And if you will click here, the architecture diagrams, you will get a zip file basically. That zip file will include 2 files and 1 directory, okay? The first one is the Azure Arc VNext diagrams. These are all the individual diagrams that you've been seeing, mainly me posting on LinkedIn, just kind of all these assets bundled in a single slide, high fidelity, high resolution diagrams. So that's the first file. our Jumpstart, that's a deck that is dedicated for the Jumpstart. So if you are presenting on things that's got to do with the Jumpstart, we've seen a lot of people presenting on HCI Box and RBox and Agora and what have you. You will get dedicated deck that have all the assets there. Now, the posters is actually where things are, getting a bit more interesting, right? So we started to publish these posters, and if you're familiar with the old TechNet diagrams, back in the day, we just wanted to bring that to life again. So what you will get, every release we're releasing new posters, right? And I'm just going to show you how it looks like. I specifically chose the HCI one just because of the popularity, and I know that a lot of people will be able to relate. But these posters are designed to be printed. These posters are high fidelity, again, high resolution posters that you can go download, print in your own time, and you're also getting like everything in one place. Now, each one of these diagrams is also in that previous deck that I mentioned, the Arc VNext diagram. So you get each an individual diagram, for your own usage. So I just wanted to provide you with some context to what we are saying when we're talking about APD. So there is that. So at the moment, as you can see here, at the moment, we have 5 of those posters. We have basically the poster for AKS as Essentials, Arc-enabled Kubernetes, Arc-enabled servers, Azure IoT Operations, and Azure Stack HCI. And we also got some feedback around, hey, can you include the change log for these diagrams so we will know what was changed and all of that. So that's also something that we're going to roll out starting the next version that will go out probably by the end of next week. So, and we're going to have some new things in that bundle as well. So this was a quick overview on the APD initiative. And to wrap things up, before I'm switching over to, I believe Ryan is our next presenter, just want to give a call out to the fact that Microsoft Build is coming next month. And in the next 3 months, you're going to see us rolling a lot of things in the Jumpstart that are related to community, and it will, you will see some announcements at Build as well. So definitely stay tuned, definitely check, make sure that you're plugged into those community calls, make sure that you are, following on all the relevant people on LinkedIn, because that's where we are communicating most of our stuff. What I can share with you is that there's going to be a lot of initiatives or a lot of focus on community contribution and giving back motion. We want to make sure that this community is feeding itself so people are able to share knowledge without us being a middleman, and also reducing the friction for contribution. So you're going to see more initiatives around that coming in the next few weeks and months. So with that, I'll be staying around for some questions if you have any. And I think that at this point, I'm going to stop sharing and I'll have Kiana share. And I believe we have Ryan coming next. So thanks, everyone. I'm excited about this reboot for the community call.
Awesome. Thanks, Lior. All right. Let's get our slides going here. Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan from the Arc Server team. So glad to be here today, and especially excited to see this kick off again. I have a couple updates for you, just on kind of what's going on in the Arc Server space. So if we just move to the next slide. Awesome. So last month we released our March agent release version 1.39 for the Arc Server agent. I just want to call out 2 cool things that went into this agent release. The first one is based on community feedback, which is how do I fix extensions on an Arc server if they get stuck in like a creating or deleting state, or maybe someone accidentally disconnected my server from the cloud without removing extensions first. Like, how do I get rid of all that stuff on the local system? So we added some new commands to our local CLI tool, AZCM agent, that helps you see which extensions are installed from the view of the local agent and lets you remove them, whether or not they're in a working state. So check out our release notes for the latest details on how to use those. It's early in its development, so we just wanted to get this out there for folks. So there's a few rough edges around it that we call out, but we're going to keep improving this because I think it's going to be a useful experience for customers. The second one is also based on feedback we've heard, which is if you're running Arc on either a very small computer, maybe 1 CPU, a couple gigs of RAM, or a normal sized computer with a ton of stuff running on it, running very hot, the default time limits we have for installing extensions or evaluating policies, sometimes with so few resources, you're not going to be able to finish actions in those time limits. So we've now made it possible to customize our default CPU caps so that you can say, look, I need more than 5% of my CPU in order to finish this in 20 minutes. Go ahead and use 50%, 80%, 100% when installing extensions or evaluating policy so that those things go and get finished in time. So definitely check both of those out. And we got plenty more coming up in future releases as well. I'm just going to call out again in case you missed it. Run command went in public preview end of last year, but we are still looking for feedback on it and encourage you to try it out. If you're not familiar with it, run command's kind of a non-interactive way of executing commands across servers. So you can basically think of it as custom script extension with a lot more features. You can run multiple commands on a single machine at a time. It has a proper API to go get the data out of it. You can tell it, hey, just put the results of this execution in a storage account for me. It's definitely got a lot of flexibility there. And if you want to see a demo of it, I'm linking below there to the Windows Server Summit sessions on Arc. I'm going to skip the second one, automate on-premises Windows Server from the cloud using Azure Arc. Thomas and I did that session, and we actually show you a scenario of how do I enable a web server role on Windows Server and configure a website 5 different ways with Azure Arc. So we start with the point and click approach with Windows Admin Center, and we work our way up through run command, SSH via Azure Arc, Azure Automation, hybrid runbook workers, and then we land with machine configuration for a fully automated solution. So definitely take a look at that. I'm pretty proud of it. I think it's a nice demo of all the different ways you can use Arc to achieve a common task. The other session, if you're new to Arc Server, is the one above, Cloud Operations for Windows Server. There we kind of cover a more broad set of capabilities that are available through Azure Arc, including some of the newer features. So just wanted to call those out. Next up, ARM64. We heard a lot of asks for ARM64 VMs. I'm here to tell you we're working on it. We absolutely are going to make some progress on this in the next 6 months. What I need, though, is input from you on where do you see you or your customers using ARM64? What distributions and versions are you running it on? And what scenarios? Like, are you trying to do Defender, monitor, update management? Help us understand where you need ARM64 support. So you can shoot me a mail at the email on the right side there. If you have any ARM64 use cases, just would love to get that data so we can help prioritize the engineering team to work on those scenarios that have immediate use cases. And last up, everyone's favorite topic, Copilot and AI. We are currently running a research study to figure out how we can use Copilot to make your experience with Azure Arc even better. We're particularly focusing on helping you during the onboarding process and troubleshooting. So if you have issues with an extension, how can Copilot proactively help you understand what's going on or even help you go and fix stuff? If you're interested in providing feedback on that, I have a link at the bottom for the research survey. You can just do the survey and be done. That's totally fine. But if you're interested in having a conversation with our research team and product team as well, there's an option at the very end to sign up for a session as well. So those are my updates for this month for Arc Server. Again, thank you all so much, and I'll be on the chat if you have any questions.
All right, I think I'm up next. So hello, everyone. My name's Lance Wright. I am a PM in the Azure Data Organization. It's a pleasure to be with you all today and get to talk to you about some things that we've been doing in Arc Data World and share a little bit of with the community here. So since we last met, which I believe was back in October, we've actually been pretty busy launching some, actually almost everything on the screen is a public preview launch. So I'll talk about our public previews for tools in the backup and point-in-time restore space. We also have some public previews to help you with availability groups. And then we launched a performance dashboard to help you see, the performance of your SQL Server right from within the Azure portal. And then just last month, we launched a feature to help you take an assessment of your SQL Server and its readiness to migrate to Azure. So excited to talk to you about all these things. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide here. And you'll kind of hear a recurring theme today that we're bringing more things that you would do maybe in SSMS or other tools, and we're bringing these tools and functionality to Azure to help you kind of streamline and simplify your operations and your data and your workloads and things like that. So you're not having to kind of constantly switch tools. If we can kind of bring it all to a single control plane, we're really hoping that this provides you with kind of a more streamlined experience to, get your job done. So let's talk about backups and restore. So over on the left-hand side, we'll talk about automated backups. So just to call out, this is a feature that is disabled by default. And that's simply because, lots of customers already have their backup solutions, and we don't want to interfere with anything that's already running in the backup space. But basically what you can do is you can go into the Azure portal and you can basically configure the backup policy, again, right from within Azure. And you can choose to, take the default schedule, which is a weekly full backup, a daily differential, and 5-minute T-log backups. But you can customize that schedule. You can instead do, a full backup every day if you wanted. You can choose to do daily differentials every 24 hours. You can kind of customize the length of period for the T-log backups. Kind of gives you a lot of flexibility. And you can also adjust the retention period anywhere from 1 to 35 days. And kind of customize how long you want to retain that backup policy. And your databases do have to be in full recovery mode. I will say that we are working on. Sorry, there's someone that's not on mute. Can we mute them? We are working on databases that are in simple recovery mode, being able to support a backup policy there. So stay tuned for that. And one thing I do just want to make clear is one thing that this feature is not. This isn't a feature to back up to Azure or to the cloud or things like that. This is simply using the local backup storage wherever you kind of have it configured for the SQL Server. It's just managing that policy from within Azure. And then, of course, the other side of the coin to backups is being able to restore. So that's kind of this right-hand side here. So again, right from within the Azure portal, you can pick the point in time the point in time that you want to restore your backup to or your database to. And again, right from within the Azure portal, you can kind of set that restore point, set up what the new database name is, and start that point in time restore process right from within the Azure portal. So that's where we're at in the backups and restore space. If we go to the next slide, we'll talk about availability groups. So availability groups, effectively what we've done here is in the Azure portal, you're able to see your availability group inventory. All the AG nodes do need to be ARC enabled, and right within the Azure portal, you can see which is the current primary replica, what is the availability group replicas, what's the current failover mode. And if you're familiar with kind of this the screen in SSMS, it's pretty much, we've kind of lifted that screen from SSMS right into the Azure portal just because, DBAs and IT administrators are kind of used to seeing this process. So what you're seeing on the screen here right now is basically an AG that's not in a very healthy state. So you're able to kind of see right from within the portal an AG that needs some work to make sure to get it back into a healthy state. And then one thing I will call out is right at the top there is the ability to initiate a manual failover from the Azure portal. So we're not doing any sort of automated failovers, but you can trigger a planned, basically manual failover right from within the Azure portal. And if we go ahead and go on to the next slide, we'll talk about SQL performance monitoring. So this is a pretty big feature that we launched back in November, and it's a feature that we'll kind of continue to build on in the months ahead. But effectively what we're doing here for the monitoring feature is we are collecting performance data using the DMV datasets on an ARC-enabled SQL Server, and we're sending it up to an Azure telemetry pipeline. And through that Azure telemetry pipeline, we're able to give you visibility right from within the Azure portal on about, I want to say 70 different metrics related to the performance of your SQL Server. That's everything from CPU, memory, storage utilization, memory and storage IOPS. We have about 50 or 60 different performance counters right from within the Azure portal. You can kind of configure the dashboard to show the exact metrics that you're wanting to see. We know that lots of customers, have tools that they use to monitor the performance of their SQL Server. But again, by bringing this right into the Azure portal, kind of streamlining that process to help you monitor the performance of your SQL Server. So again, this is an area that we'll continue to invest in the months and in the months ahead. And we're looking forward to hearing your feedback from the community on does the SQL Performance Dashboard kind of help you to streamline your workload? Does it give you the information that you need? We know that there's obviously thousands of metrics when it comes to SQL performance that you can measure. Let us know what's working, what's not working, what metrics are missing, what metrics you need. And we're excited to kind of continue to build on this feature going forward. So, and then the last thing that I'll talk about is the feature that we just released a public preview just last month. And this is basically a migration readiness assessment. And basically what this is an assessment that runs automatically every week on Sunday evenings, local time to the server. And it is free. There's no cost. There is support all the way back to 2012. All editions are supported. And basically what this does is it runs an assessment on your SQL Server, and it lets you know your readiness to migrate to these 3 Azure data targets, right? Azure SQL VM, SQL servers running on Azure VMs, and Azure SQL DB. And basically, as you can kind of see here over on the left-hand side, this particular instance is ready to migrate to Azure SQL MI, and it actually tells you the SKU that we're recommending based on what we are seeing in terms of the performance of your workload. And then it also tells you the migration tools that you can use to get started. But over on the right-hand side, you see that this particular instance isn't ready to migrate to Azure SQL DB. So if that's your desired target, you can actually click on that Not Ready link there, and it'll actually pop out a little side panel and give you a laundry list of things that you need to go and check out or things to be aware of, so you can start getting ready for that migration to that particular target. So, and again, this is another area that we're looking to invest in the months ahead. So please stay tuned for more advancements here. And yeah, thank you for your time today, and I'll hand it off to the next speaker.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. My name is Megha Tiwari. I am a lead program manager in our Azure IoT product group. I look at our go-to-market initiatives, customer and community enablement, as well as the partner ecosystem. And I'm delighted to be here with all of you today. What I want to talk about is some partner and customer-facing programs that we've established for Azure IoT operations, which you might have seen at Ignite. We announced in public preview. So it's a brand new product area for us where we're expanding our Azure IoT capabilities to meet digital transformation requirements and needs that customers have when they want to get data out of their physical operations. So if you haven't already looked at this product, we highly recommend looking at some of our online documentation. We also have great videos from the Jumpstart team on YouTube as well. And what I'm here to talk about today are 2 programs that we have dedicated for partners and customers. So if you are a partner entity for Microsoft, or if you relate as a customer, listen in on how you can collaborate with us. So we have 2 initiatives designed to bring together strategic partners and customers to come and work with us deeply while the product is in public preview ahead of the general availability launch. And what we want to do is we want to be able to identify some joint value propositions, use cases that resonate in the target industries that we have for our product as well as for you. And we want to be able to collaborate to come up with pilots, MVPs, and help you get a kickstart at your initiatives that you want to get started with Azure IoT operations. So what that means is, you'll get early access to our product, you will get all the previews and details on our roadmap, and be able to, get a kickstart and have a first mover's advantage if you want to build a product, if you want to build a solution leveraging our product. So if this sounds like something that you may be interested in, feel free to reach out to me and discuss your scenario, discuss what your company is right now doing to try to get data out of your operations, out of your assets, industrial, OT equipment, and create a data platform and create a solution around our product. If we can go to the next slide. In terms of program qualifications, what we ask is that, when you reach out to us and if you want to have a depth engagement with us, that, you commit to providing regular feedback, you commit to engaging with us on a regular cadence. Usually we are setting up weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly calls, depending on what works for the partner on the customer. And we want to be able to, have a commitment towards building a specific solution. So it's not that, of course, we want to support exploratory discussions, but if you want to be part of this program, you want to make sure that there is a goal or a project, specific project definition that we are working towards. And the another thing that we ask is that, as part of this, we want to be able to showcase our thought leadership, our solution, best practices, what we've learned with you publicly as well in all of our events, blogs, all of those things that you usually see Microsoft do when it comes to talking about customer and partner solutions. From our side, what we're going to be doing as part of this is, we assign a dedicated PM or a technical resource from our team that provides support. Of course, the product is not GA yet, so you can't open and expect ICM level support, lifecycle level support. But all the feedback that is shared, we look at it with great detail. We make sure that it's added to our engineering backlog and that we're acting on it to make sure that our product continues to meet the requirements that you may have, which is the whole point of this program, right? Like, we want to make sure that you have an opportunity to provide input and feedback into how the product is being developed, so that there is that product use case and product market fit once we are finished doing the major development and the product is generally available. And some caveats of the product being in public preview is like, there are lots of updates in terms of functionality and components that we are making as we march towards general availability. And so we ask that you have that understanding that things may change. Sometimes we may ask you to do a complete delete and reinstall of the release. And so we also ask that no mission critical workloads are part of the MVP or pilot that you come up with as part of this. So that's all I have to say. If you want to be an early adopter, if you want to be a reference customer for Azure IoT, please reach out to me, and I'd be very happy to discuss your scenario. I'd be very happy to discuss if it makes sense to engage deeply and work towards a common goal and have a good example for the industry and for the market to see that what is possible together with joint effort. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you everyone for sharing and presenting today. I know that we have the QA section within the Teams channel or within the chat itself. We've had a couple questions come up, but now is the time for everyone, if you have questions, to raise your hand. We'll take them in the order that they come in, or if you don't feel comfortable with posting the unmuting yourself, feel free to post them in the Q&A portion of this call, and we can answer through there. But in the meantime, feel free to raise your hand. We can take questions for anyone that has any. There are no questions, or if you think of questions, oh, I think I might have seen it. Nope. But yeah, if there aren't any questions right now and you think of questions later on, I believe that Thomas has posted in the chat. If you haven't already, just make sure that you join our Adaptive Cloud Community Teams channel. There you can ask questions. You'll get notifications of these calls that are now happening monthly. You'll find all of the resources there, and it's just a great way to stay connected. But if we don't have any questions, last chance, then I just want to wrap it up and say thank you everyone for attending today. Feel free to connect with us on the GitHub that I have linked there. And if you have any feedback at all for us on future topics that you would like us to discuss, feedback for the way that we run this meeting, feel free to post it here within this link. It'll give you a form that you can submit, and it'll go directly to us, and we can take it into account for our next call. It looks like actually there are two questions now. feel free to unmute yourselves. Lance, I
Hey,
think you're
Kiana. I just wanted to say that Doug posted a question, when can we expect an updated roadmap for HCI?
Yeah, so I can take this. So who has the question? Just so I will address them by name.
Doug Underwood.
All right, Doug, thanks for the question. We are actively working on an external version for new roadmap initiative. So hopefully we'll be able to talk about this in the next community call. Definitely a relevant question. We're getting this question a lot. So I'll steal Lion's line here, and I will say that I'm here to tell you that we're working on it. So definitely it's coming.
right. Next question, Vincent.
Hello. My question is for Arc Data Services. You said on it in your slide, automatic backups are disabled by default because customers have their own backup solutions. May I ask you to elaborate more? What is the generally seen backup solution? Do you mean at PVC level? Can you elaborate, please?
Yeah, I'm happy to elaborate. So yeah, I mean, I would say a big majority of our customers, especially at the enterprise level, they've already implemented their own backup solutions, either through other providers or they have their own process or whatever. That's simply all I'm referring to, is they may be using a third-party tool to run their backups, or they already have a system in place to do backups, and we simply just don't want to interfere with anything that they have going on. So that's why it's disabled by default. Does that answer your question?
Yes or no? So,
Okay.
backup solution, because I would like to see backup integration with a backup server like Dell Avamar, for example. Is it possible? Question mark. Or are you referring to Kubernetes storage backup solution? I'm
No,
sorry.
this is no, this is specifically for SQL Server. Is what I'm referring to. Yep.
So integrating with something like Veritas Backup or Dell Avamar or something, you mean?
Yeah, like the customer's already taking backups of their SQL Server, right? Be it to an S3 storage blob or on-prem to a data tape or something like that. It can be any number of things, right? Whole across the spectrum, right? So that's what we're referring to when customers are already doing backup solutions. Or they're they're even keeping the backups locally on the SQL Server. We just don't want to interfere with that process, right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
All right, and Jamie, it looks like you have a question next.
Hi there, thanks. Yeah, I just wanted, I posted the question in the Q&A. It was regards to best practice assessments and if they were at any point coming to Azure Arc.
Is this regarding the Windows or what best practice assessments were you thinking of?
So we use the on-demand assessments for things like Active Directory and Active Directory security. We've just got the SQL best practice assessment working via Azure Arc. And there seems to be some overlap with that and the on-demand assessment for SQL. And I was just wondering, are there any plans to bring best practice assessments for other workloads via Azure Arc?
I see. Yeah. So I could say we're definitely investigating it. I can't commit to if or which ones we will try to bring to Windows and Windows servers, but yeah, we are exploring it. I just don't have much more to share at this time.
Okay, thank you.
I don't believe that there are any. I see a couple questions in the Q&A. Christopher had asked that he had mentioned that he filled out the form a few times. So we just recently introduced a new form for individuals to be added to the Teams channel. Let me go ahead and post that for individuals to fill that out. there was a previous form that was used in the past. Since then, we've updated the form to add a new couple details. So I can go ahead and respond to that one. And then someone was also asking for the feedback form. I believe Will was, and I'll go ahead and post that in the chat here as well. This one is the feedback form. In the meantime, David, it looks like you have a question. You can go ahead and ask.
Yes. Yeah, if you're not, I'm not currently a member of the team, so I cannot even see the chat. So I don't know if you're able to share your screen, or is there another way that I can get access to that form?
Oh, so you all are not able to see the chat?
Well, I'm not, it says I need to be a member of the team to be able to access the chat, so.
That's interesting. Okay. Let me, I don't know what
Maybe let's follow up offline, Devin. We'll share with you the form. You know, no
Thank
worries. It's all good.
Yeah, I have the same issue too.
All right, let's do a bit of a, you know, we'll investigate. We'll see what's what. You know, I'm sure we can fix that pretty easily. So no worries.
Clear.
Yeah. Is that Amy? Hey, Amy.
Yeah, give me some cookies.
Just by the way, for the forms link, if you go to the GitHub page, they're both form links for FTEs as well as for external people as well. So if you just go to our GitHub page, which you have probably seen somewhere or used to actually join, that's where you can find also the form links to sign up for these channels. And for FTEs, you can there's a direct link to actually join. So no need for the form in that sense.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone are asking me for swag like I'm the, you know, the swag monster. I mean, I think that you're underestimating the budget that I'm bound to. So, you know, you get an emoji. That's what you get right now. So.
It's all your posts. You're posting stickers in Israel.
It only cost $6,000 to get here, you know. Anyway. I think we're good, Kiana.
All right, sounds good. But yeah, we can figure out the form in the meantime, and also the chat enabled for the next call. But I thank everyone for joining today, and hopefully we will see you all back here in a month.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.